Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to another episode on the YouTube channel. And of course, it is a little bit of a different episode tonight, in particular, because of course we're going to be talking about Liverpool's midfield. And the more important question: can Liverpool survive the rest of the season without signing another midfielder? Now, I think there's an easy answer and there's an easy way of going around it, of course, but we will try and go a bit in depth about it as well in tonight's episode. There is a poll right now in the chat as well, if anyone does want to take a quick look on it as well, of course. And I have put the following. Can Liverpool survive this season without signing a new midfielder? And it's currently tied. Of course, we've got yes, no, and sure, and just sign a midfielder. I thought that would be pretty funny to put it in there anyway. But yeah, it is at the minute. I'm looking at it right now. It is pretty much even Stevens as well anyway. But guys, let me know how all of you are. Let me know, how you lot are feeling at the moment about Liverpool's situation, the midfield, because of course we are going to be taking a little bit of a look at the midfield and just realistically having a look at what Liverpool's problems are. We are also going to look at an Opta article as well that was published today. We are going to be looking at that a bit briefly as well, and it does very much shine out Liverpool's problems then. I will say that without a shadow of a doubt anyway. But let's get into your comments then, guys. Well, definitely not, I'm afraid, Conamy as well, says Alan. That's Alan. I absolutely agree with you 100%. Yeah, if anyone does want to join, then please do let me know as well. The link is there if anyone does want to join. I just put it in there for game's sake. But Henry's in as well, saying evening, Connor. Just finished a podcast as well. Good seeing you, Henry. No, we have no chance without the midfield being strengthened, and Data as well. Hello. And yeah, look, I think plenty of people have their thoughts, their own opinions as well. But one thing I will say as well before we do start the stream off as well is if you could please hit that like button, please hit the subscribe button. It's very much appreciated as always. And look, guys, I think pretty much all of us can be a bit frustrated, and I think that's justified in some sense. Now, obviously, this isn't an FSG type stream. This isn't I've seen obviously a couple of people trying to do FSG streams and that, and look, I do think they are a big problem in this. I don't get me wrong. I don't think they are, well, they are the ultimate problem. Don't get me wrong, they are. And the way the club is at the minute is a big problem. It's a huge problem. But it's the sense of, what, with the way the club is at the moment, what is the plan? And it's a complex one. I don't think it's a straightforward like, oh, we're up for sale and this and that and blah blah blah. I do think that there is more to it because, as far as we know, there's nothing nothing new in terms of in terms of the sale. There's been nothing as advanced as what I think what we expected by now. But again, it's the talk of potential investors. It's always that talk. There's no real full sale talks anymore. I would say personally, it's just whether or not Liverpool can get investment and whether or not Liverpool will try to get investment. And I think that's more of a big problem because when you've got the likes of Manchester United currently up for sale and you've got other teams that would absolutely take the Saudi money or whatever money or Qatari money that comes their way, it's the sense of where Liverpool, when we're looking at just investors, look, obviously people will like to multiply their money, don't get me wrong, but when FSG turn around and go, okay, we're looking for high end investment opportunities, again, I think that a little bit takes you're only fishing in a very small pond if you get what I mean, of course. And look, there's multiple different reasons as well, and many different complex scenarios. Look, you've got that German consortium, you've got I think there's even an Austrian consortium, American consortium that's been spoken about investment and so on. And that's, I think, the big thing. When we're looking at just money terms of it anyway. But I want to quickly bring up Anfield Talks, and I will quickly read you guys' comments in a brief moment anyway, but I want to quickly bring this up from the Anfield Talk as well, what they said on their Twitter as well, saying quite clear that John Henry and FSG are happy for the team to decline whilst they try to find an investor for the club. The midfield needs urgent investment, and we're sat in the second week of the window with nothing close to materialising. Pathetic, which I agree with, absolutely agree with. And I think, look, we all saw in the summer, of course, we went after Tchouaméni. That didn't happen. That didn't fruition. We tried to get Jude Bellingham in all summer long. Would not happen. Okay, sound. We'll wait till the summer. That was before the season started. Season started. Could quite clearly see what the problems are at Liverpool. And we saw, look, reportedly Liverpool, panic chasing after, certain amount of players, so reportedly, Caicedo was meant to be bidded on transfer deadline day, Arthur Melo, for example, as well. And look, a week at the end of the transfer window for Liverpool is terrible, unless there's like an opportunity, like, for example, like Luis Diaz, for example, where, Spurs had an opportunity to sign him and the deal was pretty much done. And then Liverpool just swooped in and got him because, we wanted him first. And that's what I felt like Liverpool were trying to do potentially at the end of the summer window. This January window, we saw it with Cody Gakpo. Reportedly, we wanted him in the summer. The likes of Chelsea and Manchester United were reportedly ramping up their interest in Cody Gakpo. Fine, we went and signed him. We needed the signing. We needed Cody Gakpo, but the midfield situation is where Liverpool have massively been lacking this season. And the three in the thumbnail, and I'll quickly see if I can get the. Where have I put that? Oh, there we go. Even these three, that's our main midfield three in Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, and Thiago. That midfield last year nearly won us a quadruple. This season, it's been diabolical. And of course, there's been, there can be plenty of scenarios and questions, why is it not working? What is wrong with Liverpool Football Club at the moment? And we will go into that Opta. The Opta looked at it and look, they did the little piece on it, which I've just read through and about 2 hours ago and looked into it, and they do mention very, very valid points, which we will take a look at in a brief moment. But it's the sense of where Liverpool have lost their identity in the midfield. And guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. And it backtracks even to last season. Fair enough, we were winning games. We were, brilliant in some aspects of things, but we did lose our identity a little bit throughout the season. And again, it was a bit of dip in form and blah, blah, blah. But that first half of the season, we look back, we had a midfield of, what was it, Jordan Henderson, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and not Naby Keita, sorry, of, who was it? I think it was Naby Keita, and Harvey Elliott, was it? No, Harvey was injured last year at that time. But you get what I mean. Like we had three attacking midfielders against Brighton, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was being coached through the entire 90 how to defend against that Brighton side, where I think we ended up drawing that game, didn't we, 2-2. And it's the sense of our best three at the minute is Harvey Elliott, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago. That is our best three. That three has been found out. And then when you have to rely on the additional parts, so your Naby Keitas, your Harvey Elliott, your Fabio Carvalhos, your Alex Oxlade-Chamberlains, your James Milners, you can see where the weaknesses are. And look, I'm taking Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho out of that scenario as well, because look, them two, again, they're both 18, 19, 20. They don't deserve to be criticised yet. Yeah, they can have bad performances, and we can look at those in particular. But they're 19-year-old kids that should be out of the spotlight, not in it, if you get what I mean. And they shouldn't be, put, purposely put on. Similar like what Harvey Elliott has done over the last couple of weeks. People have been, purposely targeting Harvey Elliott, for Liverpool's disastrous midfield. It's not just him, and look, he shouldn't be a part of it. He should just be slowly integrating himself into the team, not, being a regular starter and being, called upon in a midfield three of Fabinho and Jordan Henderson at times, or Thiago, for that sake. And when we look at it, Harvey Elliott's the only player I think for Liverpool that has been involved in each and every single game so far this season, and that's a remarkable stat, I think, anyway. But let me know your guys' thoughts anyways. We will have a look in a brief moment anyway about it. I want to quickly have a look at the what we got, the graph anyway. Yeah, 60% says no. I would agree with it with chat as well. To be fair, yeah, 100%, absolutely no. Liverpool cannot survive this season without signing a midfielder anyway. But the status says no. We have no chance without the new midfield being strengthened as well. Henry says I tried to join the stream corner. I don't know what happened. I do not know either. But I think that's the thing. I don't know, Henry. Just try. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Anyway, but no, mate. Without the midfield being strengthened, we are definitely not going to finish in the top half table, and I can't even see us getting Jude Bellingham. That's the thing, isn't it? And again, it's worrying the fact that I think Neil Jones spoke on Redmen, speaking about there's already a Champions League list and there's already a non-Champions League list, which, yeah, shouldn't be the case. Look, if this midfield, if this midfield rebuild has been a thing in the works for the last 2 years, why are we waiting for Europa League or Champions League, or not even that? The way Liverpool are going at the minute, we might even get conference or no Europe at all, in that regard. But it is that case of it's a real struggle at the minute where look, we've targeted Jude Bellingham, and like I've said to you guys, I think Jude Bellingham is between Liverpool and Real Madrid. And if he goes to Real Madrid, if Liverpool get into the Champions League and he still picks Real Madrid, then I'd say fair enough. Real Madrid is the one for every player. They want Real Madrid, and that's fair enough. But the thing I won't be able to, be at ease with, if Liverpool at least don't try and go after him, and that report today suggesting that Liverpool are going to offer the entire Jude Bellingham, the Bellingham family, anyway, roles within the club. They're reportedly going to buy his brother, and they're going to make his dad a scout as well, and practically take care of the Bellingham family. And if that is the case, then fair enough. But I don't want to, I don't want us to be wrapped up, because if Jude Bellingham isn't done straight away before the summer, I don't want to be wrapped up in a scenario where we are just totally focusing on him, and then other players, is our targets completely go past. And don't get me wrong, Jude Bellingham is number one for me. He is the creme de la creme of signings then. And don't get me wrong, again, a 19-year-old kid, but that's the market where Liverpool have to look at the moment, because you look at our squad age. When we won the league, it was one of the lowest. You look at it now, it's one of the highest. I think the fourth to last age of squads, I think, or something like that. it's the fact that, like, we've had our time with this group of players. It's now time to bring, new fresh faces, the likes of, in between 19 to 24, or even a bit, a bit more in that regard, as well. And of course, there could be things that we don't know about. We didn't know about Cody Gakpo, and that's the realistic thing as well. There are things that, uh, people like me that do the news, or just practically journos as well. There's people that don't know everything. The club do keep their cards very close to their chest after the Virgil van Dijk situation, and that's a good thing in that regard. But when we're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, it's a bit horrible. Like, but again, it isn't the best, is it? Realistically, and yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that as well. It says Henderson is okay, but past his best. Milner is generic. Elliott is not exactly the best. Fabinho's not good enough. Keita props up the NHS. For God's sake, Thiago's the only world class player we have, as well. Yeah, I would agree. Look, you guys know it. You know my thoughts on Naby Keita. I think when Naby Keita plays, he's one of the best on the pitch. But that's like, I could win the lottery first before Naby Keita has a as consistent run of games, because if the rumors are true and he is now playing essentially for a move, um, when clubs look at him, who is going to buy Naby Keita? Who is going to sign Naby Keita? The only club I could probably think of is what potentially Dortmund. He has that track record in Germany, even Leipzig to some extent, of course. Because now they've got Timo Werner back, um, at the club, so they might try and rekindle that partnership that we all thought might have joined at Liverpool, but that's in a different timeline, somewhere, anyone other universe, I should say. But it's that sense of, Naby Keita is playing for a move right now if he is leaving Liverpool. And of course, and I was going to make it a thumbnail and the title tonight, about Ox and Naby, about that potentially being, who was it? Someone said that, Liverpool could offer Ox and Naby a new deal. No, absolutely not. No. Um, Ox, definitely no. I think it's a shame when it comes to Ox, because look, that 17-18 season, if he hadn't picked up that knee injury, who knows what might have happened. Even to Liverpool to some extent. We don't know what would have happened in the Champions League final, if he hadn't got injured. But it's that sense of, it's just with Ox, he's back fit, then he's injured, out for a while, then there's no consistency. And when he comes back, then he's not playing good for Liverpool. Like, look, of the last couple of weeks when he was playing on that left of a three, was pretty decent. But he's not that. He's not a forward. He's a midfielder. You play him in the midfield, he's not that great, and that's a big problem. Um, for right now, especially with Liverpool, not being the best themselves at the minute. Our midfield has dropped off so bad since last season. I do want to see Keita more if he can stay fit as well. I think, maybe plenty of people will have that thought and opinion as well. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts, as well, because I think plenty of people will have similar ideas or similar thoughts anyway. We needed midfielders 3 seasons back. John, yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you there, my friend. Talia Albin wonders, think the Arabs are running the club from afar. No. If that was the case, Gary, like, at the end of the day, things would have got done by now. And that's the thing. If Liverpool did invest, or FSG did invest, let's say like 250 million, the asking price of the club goes back up, because you're investing more money yet again within the club, so they wouldn't lose anything from it when you look at it at that side of things. And basically, if they are selling the club in its entirety, they're going to be what, 3.5, 4 billion up compared to what they was. So, and of course they have money. They've just spent what, I don't know what it is. I think it's like 25. Is it 25 million a year on someone or something like that. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's something expensive anyway in the baseball league anyway. Because again, the Red Sox fans, kicked off with them, and they acted straight away. So what's our excuse then? What's the midfield excuse? I don't know. Hi Connor as well, says Brian. Hello, Brian. Hopefully, on a fantastic day, my friend. I hope everyone is well today. I don't think we will sign anyone of with status. No. If I'm being honest, and I'll quickly put it. The little list that I put on Twitter, that at the minute these are the strongest people that are being linked towards the club, in terms of signing. If you guys haven't seen it on Twitter, anyway, but that's the list at the minute that is the most likely to join Liverpool, at the present moment in time. Of course, the likes of Jude Bellingham, Matthias Nunes, as you can see, but those. Those names over there are the ones that are getting spoken about quite a lot. Obviously, the one down the bottom as well is the most recent, in Coop Miners or Cooper Miners, as well from Atalanta. Of course, Atalanta today said that he's not for sale, and he also spoke about the Liverpool rumours in detail in an interview somewhere. Practically said he loved the rumours, and he potentially would like to join a club like Liverpool in the future. But he's loving life at the minute at Atalanta and doesn't want to move in January. So again, out of those names, guys, as well, I want to know your guys' thoughts. Who is the most likeliest if Liverpool were to sign, one out of those names? Who is the most likeliest to join the Reds? For me, I think still likely. Well, the most likeliest out of them all is Matthias Nunes, which is a bit weird to say, but yeah, for me it would be Matthias Nunes at the moment. Even though I do think Jude Bellingham is, I wouldn't say close or anything like that, but I'd say look, Jude Bellingham. I'd like to say Jude Bellingham is done, but unfortunately I can't. I'm not sure Henderson gets in over on form Elliott. Henderson has totally lost it. I know Elliott is too young, but right now he's the better player in my opinion. Yeah, I think plenty of people would agree as well. Bry as well. For fuck's sake. Says, here Jay Spearing is back fit as well. Yeah, get him a new deal, get him in the number 10 shirts, and Jay Spearing to save Liverpool season. Imagine. What a perfect story that would be if that was to ever happen. In many regards, like that would just be probably a film worthy thing, but probably not as well. I don't know. We can do enough to get him as well. What's that in terms of Jude Bellingham, Mark? As well as how you Brian as well. Henry says, I believe Jude will go to Real to replace Modric, who leaves at the end of the season. I think Modric is signing a new deal, isn't he? I think Jack mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago that Tony Cruz is potentially retiring at the end of the season. I haven't seen too much on that still, but again, I don't know. Aren't City in talks with him too? Reportedly so, but again, I do think it is between Liverpool and Real Madrid. I think anything, like, don't get me wrong, I think City could match anything that both Madrid and Liverpool put up. If we're talking just based on finance, obviously I think City are probably best out of the lot. But I think when you listen to Jude Bellingham, I think City are on the bottom of the pile, in terms of when he talks about heritage, and he wants to play and mean something towards a football club, and a football club that feels like a family. And practically when he's spoken in the past about such scenarios and situations like that, and I think Liverpool is top of that and might win over Jude Bellingham in that regard. But of course, Real Madrid is Real Madrid, and it is that annoying factor of we lost out on Tuchemeni last season because, of course, Tuchemeni had that same thought and process. Spoke to Liverpool, was happy with the talks. Real Madrid come in and was like, I want Real Madrid. and that's the thing, and that's what could potentially happen with Jude Bellingham. It's like, yeah, sound, everything's good with Liverpool, blah blah blah. Madrid are coming in. Oh, Madrid made my mind up, and that's the annoying part about it, as well. Anyway, but Keita, Henderson, Fabinho, and Ox all need to go in the summer. I would agree. Apart from, actually, no, I wouldn't agree. I think, Ox and Keita go. Henderson and Fabinho stay for squad. We can't get rid of everyone. I imagine if we actually, actually got rid of a couple of people as well, but they just come back from the injury, so it might be worth loaning him out. I don't know. Is that in terms of Curtis Jones? Curtis Jones out of his depth, not good enough. I think for squad, I think he might stick around for one more year and then loan. Is loan deals a potential option potentially? But again, I think with Curtis Jones it's hard because I think in Liverpool to play 4-2-3-1, I think he'd work 10 times better. I don't think Curtis Jones can work in an 8. As a 10 potentially, but even still, like, I think he'll have one more year squad player, and then I think Liverpool might look at loaning him out, or even potentially selling him if obviously if the right bid or deal came in for him anyway. But again, things could completely change in an instant. It could be, tomorrow he could end up going or something like that. Anyway, I wish Stevie G would come back and start playing again. Yeah. If anyone has seen the Steven Gerrard rumours as well, apparently he's going to be the next Polish manager, which is, pretty mad when you look at it. And I think the is it Roberto Martinez as well, is also now the Portuguese manager, which, why? Again, just doesn't make sense, if I'm being honest with you. Elliott is doing amazing as well. I think look, Harvey Elliott has been put into he's been put into the deep end too soon. And now people are, it's again with, like I mentioned it in a couple of videos ago, it's that thing of, one day it's Pep Linders, then it's Harvey Elliott, then it's Klopp, then I think it's just, again, the general moan, drone, then where it's like, oh, Monday Pep Linders, Tuesday Elliott, Thursday, Wednesday Klopp, Thursday, I don't know, Darwin or someone like that. Like, you get what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's horrific. I think Elliott has a better chance than Jones. I would agree with you on that, Henry, as well. I think we should take a chance in Arthur Melo instead of sending him back to Juve. We won't play him. That's a no for me. I don't think he's good enough. I did say at the time, though, I did think he's done everything to be able to play for Liverpool. But again, he's not good enough to play for Liverpool. And of course, we shouldn't, we haven't seen him play, for God's sake. We've seen him for what, 10 minutes in Italy for Liverpool. I know he's played a couple of under-23 games. We haven't seen him, and we can't judge him yet, realistically, in a Liverpool system. But even still, when he comes back, it's going to be more or less the beginning of February. He then has to learn the system, or like learn a little bit of it and learn what Jurgen wants him to do from it. That could take time. Again, it just makes no sense. And even, when we're talking about this video in terms of signings, in the reports that, Liverpool don't want to spend money now, it would just be loans and this, that, and the other. For me, loans are the worst things possible you could do when it comes to, when it does come to signings for players, because you don't, it doesn't benefit Liverpool in the long term. It does, short term, don't get me wrong, but long term it benefits the present club, unless of course you can go and sign him. Which, are we going to go and turn around and sign an on loan after Melo? No, we're not. Of course we're not. And I think that's a little bit the problem as well, because none of that list of midfielders seem likely in January. No, none of them will be likely in January. Brian, I should have said that before I said it. No, all of them are summer links. Chase Green can have my kids if he gets a number 10 and saves us as well. If he does it, then I think plenty of people will be like that as well. But yeah, no, that's not happening, is it, realistically, boys? I feel how we may pick up second-rate players to try and fill the void, potentially. Mark, absolutely. I think that's the only option, because it doesn't look like we're going to sign anyone in terms of money. We're talking in that regard. Anyway, but just going to quickly look back at the vote anyway. Yeah, 69% of people has said, well, now it's 58% of people have said that no, Liverpool won't survive if we don't sign a midfielder in this window. Anyway, but Henry says, got to go for the stream corner. No problem. Thank you, Henry, for popping in. Good night, Henry, as well. But we will take a quick look then at the article piece that Opta put out anyway. Where is it? There it is. Anyway, but as you can see on the screen right now, of course, the headline for it was, of course, it's not Jurgen Klopp's team analysing Liverpool's struggles in midfield, which, of course, I'm not going to read all of it because look, we might be here for 2 hours. No, I'm only kidding. We'll only be here for like half an hour or something like that anyway. But I want to quickly scroll down to this point by here. Where is it by? Yeah, it's by here. So as you could, so I'll read from here down. As you know, so I'll highlight. So it says, but yeah, the Times then published a feature detailed exactly how Liverpool's physical merits had massively dropped off over the years. They're no longer covering as much distance as they're attempting fewer sprints. To compound this, the iPaper spoke to the Premier League analyst who said the Reds had 3 weaknesses: Liverpool's vulnerability on transitions, the ease with which they concede chances, and the inability to stand up to physicality. Now, how many times have we said per week, in particular, that's Liverpool's main issue and main problem with the midfield? And it's so frustrating because when you look at the data as well, Liverpool face the least amount of passes through, which is ridiculous. Out of the whole entire league, Liverpool faced the least amount of passes in the entire league, and somehow it's so easy to get past us. And I think the big problem, I don't think it's Thiago, and in some merit, I don't think it's Jordan Henderson. I think the big problem is Fabinho, in my opinion, because how many times have we absolutely, what's the best word to use? Like, how many times have we cheered on Fabinho for being that destroyer? And the article piece goes on, and we'll hopefully speak about it a bit more as well. And it goes on, as it goes on, is mentioning Fabinho. Fabinho was the Hoover, the Dyson in midfield, where anything that would leak past Thiago, Jordan Henderson, and look, I'm not saying that them two players are perfect. They're not. They're miles from it. Fabinho less, not Fabinho, sorry, Thiago less than Jordan Henderson, because I think Thiago again is one of the best midfielders out there. But when that destroyer in midfield is no longer destroying, it leaves a massive gap. And it was the same with, and I think I mentioned this on, I think it was actually on Luke and Ricky's show, the comments. You look at Xavi Alonso and Mascherano. Now, if Mascherano stopped being that destroyer, it doesn't help Xavi Alonso. Xavi Alonso wasn't the best defender. It wasn't. It was like it would always be. They'd always play in the two. Where one was always magnificent with the ball. Obviously a master or maestro. Then you should say with the ball. And you'd always have that destroyer next to him. Similar to like what we've had. And what was so important last season, in terms of Fabinho being a destroyer for Thiago, and then Jordan Henderson being that runner up and down the pitch and so on. It worked, but this season it doesn't work. Look at that. Look at the Palace game, for example, at home. Fabinho of last season would have got that tackle in on Wilfried Zaha, and then there's no goal. This season, it's not happened, and there's no. I think all of us would have thought, maybe after the World Cup, Fabinho might, be a bit more refreshed because he hasn't played that much in the World Cup and look like a completely different player. And so far, it doesn't look like that is the case. And if you listen to the reports and you listen to the rumors as well, Jurgen Klopp supposedly is waiting to see, if Fabinho can get out of this rut of form as well, and then we'll decide on whether or not Liverpool need a DM. I think that's already an answer that doesn't need answering. He wanted Tchouaméni to come in the summer. Maybe Jurgen saw this, and then the question is again, who is on the market potentially, who is a destroyer and can be that what's the word, be a destroyer and be mobile and being able to create as well, because Fabinho does create some chances as well and can pass. That's the main thing. You can have like a player that's a beast at that, defending and covering, and it's then a simple like, just short pass doesn't create anything. I think Fabinho can do that in some regard, but again with Liverpool this season it hasn't happened, and it's a main problem for me. I think the number 6 is the problem for Liverpool. And how do you fix that? Do you change from a 4-4-3 at 4-4-3? Yeah, what we played 12 men, a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1, or even that weird 4-4-2 that we were playing. I think those two in particular. I put a poll out the other day on Twitter for you guys. And I think the 4-2-3-1 won by a country mile. And I think that's the thing where maybe that might give you a bit more sustainability, defensively, when you have Fabinho and Thiago, for example, just moving side to side instead of potentially moving up and down. Where with the 4-3-3 it does do that. Obviously, then you'll have the likes of Mo and Gakpo doing maybe the up and down defensive work in that regard. But again, if who is on the market that could potentially fit that number 6 spot? I don't know. Actually, I'll quickly have a look. Now, who's most comparable with Fabinho at the moment? Anyway, but even still, I will go back to the thing in a minute. I'll look at that in a brief moment. Anyway, but we'll read on a little bit anyway from that anyway. But as you can see, but there is my arrow going to work. There it is anyway. But Liverpool went from bullying teams to being bullied. It didn't happen overnight, but it's been a slow process. But the tactical tweaks this season have put these issues front and centre. While the midfield isn't the only problem for the Reds this season, it's perhaps the biggest one. Those in the midfield three used to be the engine room. They set the tempo, attended the press, and allowed the fullbacks to influence the games offensively, but they had to evolve as a team. Eventually, it was all about the gegenpress. Liverpool played heavy metal football. They would ambush opponents and then blitz them on the break. Teams wised up to this and started to cutting possession for the Reds, instead opted to control space. Klopp and his coaching team had to come up with a solution for this. And then obviously, down below then it says he once famously said the counter press was the best playmaker in the world. The new tactics adopted by the opposition meant the particular playmaker was being nullified, and Liverpool were forced to turn into possession-based team. The more of the ball the Reds had, the more adaptable it was for the midfield. He had embraced. He wasn't necessarily technical enough to make the most of the ball dominance. Now, it does go on to mention a lot more, about the press as well, and even, as you can see, it mentions, photos and goes into it. But if we go, I'll quickly highlight this as well from the article piece. But it even says, but that instead of using three functionals in the midfield, Klopp changed the dynamic. He went to control, a destroyer, and a runner. Gini Wijnaldum departed on a free and was replaced on the left by Thiago. The man on the right of the three was tasked with overlapping Mohamed Salah and creating space for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Not only did the Reds change how they attacked, but they also tweaked their build-up as well, which of course is a big, big problem for Liverpool at the moment. But it even goes to show, but there from kickoff, this was the last season for the Reds anyway. And I will quickly bring up for context as well, because there's going to mention Fabinho in a pivot and so forth. But if we take a quick look between, and of course this is taking a look at Gini Wijnaldum and Thiago as well. But it says, for context, Wijnaldum averaged 53 passes per 90 in his final 4 seasons with the club. He averaged 151 progressive yards per 90 with his passes and had an expected goals assistance of average of 0.04. In comparison, he averaged 74 passes per 90 since his move. This is Thiago. Thiago, in comparison, has averaged 74 passes per 90. In his move, most said he provided an average of 390 progressive yards per 90 and has an XG assisted per 90 of 0.12. Which, of course, you look at it at that, he's practically, when we look at it based on yards alone, Gini Wijnaldum 151 progressive yards, Thiago 390 progressive yards, which is a huge difference compared to it as well. And this is the thing, again, Thiago sets up things, but once again, and I'll quickly see if I can find they do mention a part as well from the Brentford game. And of course, the link, I will put the link in for this as well. I'll put it in the chat in a brief moment as well. If any of you guys want to take a quick look at this, because I do think it is a pivotal, a pivotal piece, a little bit of looking at Liverpool in depth a little bit. But let me just quickly take a look at this photo from Brentford. There we go. But you look at practically Liverpool. I will zoom this in for you guys anyway, so you can take a better look at it anyway. But you look at look where Thiago is. Thiago's the left midfield. I wish to be fair, I wish I had the Jamie Carragher like Sky Sports thing, so I could point people out. We can see Thiago's on the ball. Fabinho is there. If my mouse is showing, yeah, my mouse is showing. Fabinho's there, and then the right centre mid isn't even in shot. When we look at it, he is. To be fair, he's there in Harvey Elliott. So your midfield is that. It's pretty much. And then you look at this, area. You look where Darwin is, running in behind Brentford, and then this open space. And this article does go on to mention as well the difference between, what Liverpool was back in, 2018, 19, 20, when we were, winning everything. It's always the second ball with Liverpool. It's too easy. There's too much space between the front three and the midfield three, which are then, doesn't help the back line. And this is why we have so much space in behind. And look, the high line is an option for that. It's, because of it as well. But realistically, the midfield should be, the 2-8 should be a lot higher than what they are. Now, Thiago isn't. Thiago sometimes is a bit deeper than Fabinho. Fabinho is more higher sometimes than Thiago. Now, for the way that Liverpool have played and what Liverpool gained success from, I know last season, we gained success, but you get what I mean. Back in, 18, 19, 20, was the 2-8 would be that advanced and they'd be in the middle of the pitch where they would win the second ball. So if a ball came in from a Trent or a Robbo or even a Virgil, like our 2-8 would always be on it and always be on the tempo and always be there for second balls. Now you look at Liverpool since we won the league, in terms of regaining possession, the numbers, we've gone down and down and down. I think we were the first. I think we were the number one team when we won the league in that regard. And now I think we're even down in like 16th, 17th, somewhere around there. It's not good enough. And it does go on then to a little bit of, why do Liverpool concede first in games? And that's a big problem. I don't need to read the stat, and you guys know it's something like, we've conceded first, 24 out of 32 times over the last, season and a bit. It's ridiculous. It's not good enough for Liverpool Football Club, and it's it stems from the midfield and it stems from the two eights in that regard. Now, I did just say that Fabinho is the biggest liability in my opinion for the Liverpool midfield, but it does massively hinder the whole team. Thiago needs to be a bit more forward. Jordan Henderson needs to be a bit more forward. Um, and look, there's certain elements in certain games where Thiago will work, in the way it works. But when you've got a team that is aggressive, got pace, and is well drilled, you're going to have these problems, and we will have these problems more and more. We've got, and I've seen a couple of you in the chat down below going, look, I'm not looking forward to Brighton. Nobody is, because Brighton is a well-oiled machine, and it's always the teams like that. Of course, it's another Brentford away. It's teams like this where Liverpool aren't going to improve on until we get the right people in. Now, will it be the fact of our Liverpool, permanently changing the way we play? I think Jamie Carragher mentioned this as well in terms of how are Liverpool going to play from now on? Are they going to go back? Are they ever going to go back to that style of play like we played when we won the league and won the Champions League? Or are we going to do, like he said, what you saw from an Arsenal team, where Arsene Wenger would completely change, an Arsenal midfield that was, technical and it's, would struggle against the more physical teams in the league. And it's like he said, that's how it feels. It doesn't feel like it's the same players that we've had for years and years, but it doesn't feel like Jurgen Klopp's players. If it does genuinely feel like when he first came in, and Jurgen Klopp was working with Brendan Rodgers style players, and it's that sense of, again, Liverpool haven't spent, apart from Thiago, we've spent no money on a proper midfielder, in 4.5 years. It's not good enough. And look, I know Arthur Melo and Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho, but on a guaranteed starter, we haven't spent any. The last midfield signing we made was Naby Keita. In that regard, it's not good enough, and it isn't good enough. And yeah, don't get me wrong, we bought Fabinho and Naby Keita in that summer, and of course they've been brilliant. But again, Liverpool, they need a huge summer, and this is, again, we're speaking high numbers. And are FSG planning this to happen? Who knows? Because, reportedly it's 200, 250 million, whatever it is. And if that is the case, you look at it, 130 million euros on Jude Bellingham, which is around, what, 112, I think, on conversion. I'm not entirely sure on that, ending, to be fair, in terms of currency ratings. But you look at that, Matthias Nunes looks to be all but done. Even Paul Joyce has come out and said that the £44 million deal is practically done in that regards. So you've got Matthias Nunes there, and then when you look at it, you're then looking at a player that costs maybe around 20-30 million, and that's just 3 midfielders in the door. You're potentially needing maybe one more, because of course you're just replacing Ox, Naby, potentially James Milner as well. I wouldn't be too surprised if James Milner gets a new deal. I'm not going to lie. I think Naby and Ox are gone. 100%, I think they're gone. But do I think James Milner will be gone? No, I don't. I genuinely don't think they are gone. I think he will. I think he will stay 100%. Now, I will quickly put the link for this article in the chat anyway. Is that how I copy? No, that's how I copy. Jeez, generally, guys, I'm like a granddad when it comes to things like that. Is that how it is? Yeah. So if anyone does want to check it anyway, then yeah, there's the article piece down below for what you guys anyway. That if you guys want to check it, of course, I haven't mentioned everything because I don't want to take everything from that, but the way Liverpool are playing, it does fill a lot of what is wrong with Liverpool if you're looking at it as a tactical and data based sign of it. Anyway, that's what I would say for you guys. Anyway, but I want to get more into your comments now then, guys. I won't mention any more in terms of signings and things like that, Liverpool's problems at the minute, but I just want to know your guys' thoughts and your opinions as well. And I want to ask you guys as well. Do you think we're changing the way we play in terms of the midfield? Do you think that Liverpool need to go back to the physicality way that we have been doing, or the more technical way of what it looks like we're going to be going in terms of the way Thiago plays and just and generally like that as well? Let me know your guys' thoughts as well. If anyone does care as well, I think Newcastle just beat Leicester by 2-0 as well. Anyway, but Anta's in saying, dreading Brighton, going to run through our midfield. Yeah, it's not going to be fun, is it? To be fair, Wolves will do the same as well. Yeah, absolutely. They already did. To be fair, in many regards. I suppose Matty Cash is there. I think Gerrard with Poland. Yeah, guys, that is true, by the way. Supposedly, anyway. Supposedly, it's true. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I did see something about that. He's been offered the job. Anyway, for Poland manager. So again, if you guys want to become Belgium manager, I think even that's up for offering at the minute. So actually, Ricky, there we go. Ricky, I've heard your managerial skills. Ricky, there we go. You can now apply to be Belgium manager if you want to in LinkedIn. So if you want to do that, then there you go. Simple answer is no for me as well. Hello, Chris. Hope you had a fantastic day, my friend. Any team will run through our shite midfield as well. True. Very, very true. I feel we lost out on players we wanted as we had to move for Diaz as well, potentially. But again, Luis Diaz was right at the end of the window, wasn't it? And he was meant to be a summer move. So, excuse me. So yeah, it could be. It could be that case of we didn't get another midfielder because we got Luis Diaz in January, but then the horrible feeling with that is, we just got Cody Gakpo. Does that affect a midfield signing? We listen to Jurgen, he says no, it won't. So, and even the likes of Michael, Julian Ward, and or him leaving. When people go, oh, is he going to be, him leaving? Does that affect Liverpool in many regards in terms of the window? No, according to Klopp, but you don't know, do you? Brian Morrissey, it's wild. I thought he'd take another championship job. Obviously, Gerrard with Poland. I do not want to see the Ox right wing Saturday. I don't think he's going to be playing right wing, is he? I think Mo's going to be playing there. I'd rather a 4-3-2-1 instead of 4-3-1-2. Yeah. Again, it'll be interesting to see whether or not if Gakpo starts again. I think he will. I think Gakpo will start. Anyway, I've just seen freaking Ricky's comments. Brian Morrissey, international job though as well. Eyes emoji, my favorite ITK. Ricky, yeah, my favorite top red going as well. Yeah, if everyone doesn't know, Ricky's a top red. That's all I'm saying. He's gonna hate me for saying that. Every set piece they had were. I'm not even gonna pronounce that word. I can't bloody pronounce that. But yeah, it was outrageous. Oh no, it was outrageous. There we go. I didn't pronounce it. Gerrard, Poland. Yeah, and do you know what? It is one of the most weirdest things going. Like, why do they think Steven Gerrard for Poland manager? Like, there's gonna be some random Donny that's put that bet on, and they've just got quids in. You have one of those feelings with it. It's just random as hell, and nobody else has put anything on it. I wonder if you could do that. To be fair, but totally soft center. All that's missing is energy and aggression. It should be easy to redeem. Can't understand our transfer policy. Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely, Bryce. Again, I don't no, don't like. And this is the thing. I think Liverpool once again are awfully relying on Jude Bellingham being done because, of course, we have to match um, the home players scenario as well. So again, we're going to have to look for English players or homegrown talent in that regard. And again, I think obviously if Jude comes, he'll solve that problem. But again, that's only if Jude Bellingham comes to Liverpool, which who knows at the minute what the war on earth is going to happen. It seems we have lost all our drive. Absolutely, we're not trying to find two world-class strikers with highly energy, hard-working, quality mids. Yeah, well, we found a world-class striker in Darwin Núñez. Just need the midfielders now. I feel like the end of Rodgers. We are conceding first matter of time. Yeah, like I said, I like he for me. This does feel like the way we're playing as well. It's not a Jurgen Klopp team. It's not, and it feels just not us. It feels like we're just all imposters and imposter syndrome, like really, in that regard. But again, it's just ridiculous. And that became itself for us as well. Yeah, Brad mostly feels still at the stage now as well. Yeah, absolutely. Did Joyce say that we're signing Núñez? He didn't specifically say it, but he did say that Liverpool are exploiting the move. Not exploiting, exploring the move. Sorry. He did say that Liverpool were. I'm gonna try see if I can find what he said because I did have it marked somewhere. But yeah, I think he basically because he was having a go at FSG and the way Liverpool are at the minute and practically just having a go. I think that's what he was doing. Um, but yeah, he did say basically on the line that Liverpool were pretty much getting that deal done. I think Milner doing his badges. Yeah, he is doing it at the minute. Personally, I think Klopp just wants to play his classic 4-3-3 with better players. I think that's why we started after the World Cup with 4-3-3. I think we've put everything into signing Bellingham, so we won't sign a midfielder, sadly. Yeah, I would agree. Look, in terms of this window, guys, if you're asking me personally, for my personal opinion, I don't think Liverpool sign a midfielder now. I don't think we sign anyone now. And then it'll just be summer. Might Deals might be agreed, and everything might be done with, for example, like Jude Bellingham might get done in like March time or April time, when you're more towards the back end of the season. But yeah, practically, I don't think anything's getting done unless there's a midfielder like I showed you that list. If there's anyone on there that could be available now, like we can't get Matthias Núñez now because he's registered for the season for two clubs. Of course, he played for Sporting this season competitively, and he's played for Wolves. And you can't, and due to FIFA rulings, you can't play for more than two teams. Permanent moves, anyway. I think that's how the UEFA rules work, anyway, or something like that. But yeah, we can't get him either. But if we could get Paulinho from Fulham and Núñez for 45 million each, that's great business. Well, he's another one that's been on the name list today anyway. But Bellingham won't count as homegrown until he's 21. Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. But again, yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. To be fair, Bray. No, I didn't know that. Wasn't at Birmingham long enough as well, says Bright. I think that's what Jude Bellingham. What was he there for 2 seasons, 2 full seasons in the first team? I think he was. I could be wrong with that. If we were serious, we would go for Bellingham and Rice, both homegrown as well. I, I think too much too much money. Sorry, for both. Obviously, Jude's going to be in the 100 million plus range. Rice is 70 million, I think, at the minute. I think that screams Chelsea all over in the summer, especially the way Chelsea are going at the minute. They've just signed Joao Felix on loan for 11 million. 11 million for 6 months. Jesus Christ, I sound like FSG, but it's not good, is it, realistically, in that regard as well. But Brett, it's about the age gap, the age group he went to Dortmund too early to count as homegrown. There you go. thank you, Bri, for that anyway. But guys, I am going to leave it there for tonight anyway. Hopefully you have enjoyed this little bit of a, it's not a rant video, and it's not a, it's not anything else. It's just realistically, we're talking about Liverpool's problems in the midfield. And of course, I know people have spoken about FSG, and people have spoken about many other different bits and pieces over the last couple of days, and it has been a very frustrating time because, again, that Brentford result, and then obviously what happened in the FA Cup, and does it, whether or not, if it was or not, Wolves should have gone through in that game, and it's just a concerning time at the minute. And by the looks of things aren't going to get any easier. We're not going to be signing any players by the looks of things as well, which of course I don't want to say that. I know you guys don't want to hear that neither, because we want Liverpool to be back on top. We want Liverpool to be, the Liverpool of old of last season, for example, where we're fighting for everything. And at the minute, that's not the case. And it is just really disappointing at the minute. And again, we just hope that things can change, magically overnight. Fingers crossed. Anyway, but yeah, we'll be back tomorrow anyway, guys, at 9 o'clock. If there's a news episode, if there's anything breaking tomorrow, anything, of course, that comes out, I will be live straight away as well. The one thing I should have said before we did start the stream, anyway, of course, Billy Kimetio has returned back to Liverpool from his loan spell in Austria, of course, but again, that's just, can Billy Gametti play midfield? Probably not. Anyway, but look, at the end of the day, it is pretty much just a disappointing time at the minute for Liverpool, and you just hope we can get ourselves out of it. Surely anyway. But in terms of Liverpool, signing a midfielder, no. And to be fair, I think you guys have even put, in the poll. I will end the poll right now. Anyway, but as you can see there, 56% said no on it as well, and even 56% no, 26% just sign a midfielder, 10% said yes, and 6% was unsure as well. So again, we'll have to see in the future anyway, what happens. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it from me for tonight. Anyway, like I said, if you have enjoyed, then please feel free to leave a like. Please hit that subscribe button as well if you're new as well. I've just quickly checked. We're on, I think, 16 likes. So if we can get to 20, that'd be very much appreciated if anyone's watching on the repeat as well, and all that good stuff anyway. But until next time, guys, it's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ta-ra.